The creator of Beastars has quite the catalog of content. Among it lies a manga series that I can only describe as a beta version of Beastars. And despite me considering this work to be a beta version, I actually love this thing more than Beastars. Let's talk about it. A few months back, before Beastars' anime ended, I made a video on my other primary channel called This Character Ruined Beastars. It's a video where I just expressed my feelings on this poorly written, nonsensical final antagonist that tries to be an intimidating final boss but ultimately ends up just being the Joker's persona, with none of the things that make the Joker actually intimidating or, at the very least, narratively consistent. But yeah, during that video, I brought up Beast Complex quite a bit because, well, I love it. And in this video, I'm gonna try to explain why without giving too much away. But before we continue, I would politely ask to drop a like and a subscribe if you're entertained. Let's get into it. Beast Complex is essentially a short anthology series, taking place in the world of Beastars. It is a manga series that is focused on the lives of various strangers across this chaotic world of carnivores and herbivores. Each individual chapter focusing on a different pairing of characters, sometimes predators, sometimes prey, sometimes something in between. Yeah, you know how Love, Death, and Robots is a weird anthology of like wild, animated one-shot tales, most of which will probably stick with you for the rest of your goddamn life? Yeah, imagine that, but with weird furry shit. That's Beast Complex. And here's the kicker. I want to do my usual thing where I narrate the first few chapters with some witty remarks peppered in like I usually do, but I kinda don't want to here, because each chapter is its own individual tale. That's what an anthology is, and I really love this series, so I don't want to just tell you guys what happens in any of them. I really want you guys to read all of these. So yeah, while I don't want to do that, what I can tell you is this thing's strengths. I'm assuming anybody who chose to click on this video did because they are familiar with Beastars or general furry adjacent content in the anime scene. And if you like Beastars for its memorable characters, complex personalities, and the way a fucked up society shapes characters' mindsets in wild ways that lead to very weird scenarios, then you will fall in love with this manga series, likely just as you did Beastars. One thing that I do want you guys to keep in mind here as you read is the art style in the earlier chapters. You see, Beast Complex was being worked on way back when Beastars, as in the original manga, was first gaining its serialization, so you guys may notice that the first 6 chapters have a bit of a rougher art style. Some people may or may not find it a bit jarring, but personally it doesn't bug me one bit. If anything, I like it. It's like seeing this mangaka's artistic journey as you keep reading the chapters, so I kinda found it endearing. Putting that aside, our beloved author Paru Itagaki's artistic and writing skills are on max level performance with nearly every one of these chapters. And just like what I said in my video where I discussed her new manga, Taika's Reasons, involving Itagaki's various tales like Sonda and Drip Drip, nearly every tale sticks with you in its own special way. You would figure, after witnessing the darkest moments that are present in Beastars, that this entire series would be nothing but misery slop, but actually, a decent portion of the tales present are surprisingly heartwarming, but usually very bittersweet. Despite the life-threatening differences between species, characters can walk away from their experiences with one another wildly different. And that's kinda what I love so much. Sometimes you'll feel heartbroken, sometimes you'll feel happy, and sometimes you'll feel intrigued, and sometimes you'll just feel weirded the fuck out because Paru Itagaki made it. Yeah, and also, just like what I said in my Taika's Reasons video, if you're an anime tourist, you will be weirded the fuck out 90% of the time. This junk is just as mature as Beastars gets. And when I say mature, I mean flippin' weird. Like I said, since there isn't a primary cast, Itagaki can make short stories about whatever the heck she wants, and oftentimes things can get pretty, let's just go with out there sometimes. Honestly, if you ask me, Beastars' core content is far stranger, but still, I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you're wondering what the heck you're witnessing. But also, just like in Beastars, whenever something weird goes down, it's always for the sake of furthering narrative nuance, you know what I mean? That's what I always love about this series. It's not just trying to take you out of your comfort zone for no good reason. So, why do I like this series more than Beastars? There's no primary narrative, and it's only 25 chapters long. My answer to that question is that, well, my feelings are kinda complicated, but also kinda not. Okay, well, for starters, I really need to say that the primary cast of Beastars can tend to be really fucking frustrating sometimes. Yeah, they can be really frustrating. Seeing Legoshi being a socially awkward weirdo due to his species' circumstances does display nuance and character depth, but also seeing him being a maladjusted beta male weirdo in public can get pretty exhausting and aggravating after a while. Seeing Lewis's complex thought processes and his own twisted perception of how people treat him is very intriguing, in the same way that a character drama absolutely should be. But at the same time, seeing him being an insecure douche to nearly everyone gets exhausting very quickly. And the same can be said for the rest of the cast members. Juno being an actual manipulator and Haru being a sperm dumpster, you get the point. You can't blame them, man. They're a bunch of mentally sick young adults who have life circumstances they can't help due to their species. But still, their worst quirks can get pretty freaking grating in certain scenes. Luckily in Beast Complex, however, those feelings of frustration just don't well up at all, because nothing frustrating happens, from my experience anyway. Characters' personalities aren't inherently irritating, it's mostly just crazy and or insecure people from all different walks of life. World building was already strong as an ox in Beastars, but of course it's even stronger here when you can display the lives of various others and how they change when meeting folks of other species. And honestly, that's the strongest thing about this series if the tales of this don't hit you right in the feels. And at this point you're probably wondering, why does this shit hit you in the feels, bro? It's a bunch of random disconnected characters' experiences. Like, who cares? And that's a good question. Actually, you probably didn't ask that question, and you probably don't care, but I'm gonna pretend you did anyway. Maybe it's not a big deal or anything to you guys, but a lot of these short stories kind of strike a chord with me. I guess I personally connect with a large portion of this collection of weird-ass tales in the series because a lot of them feature two folks from entirely different paths of life sharing a usually short period of time together, only for them to never see one another again, but the time that they had together changes their life in ways that they probably never thought about. I kind of have that personal life experience myself because, well, I had a not-so-great childhood and a not-so-great parent, which involved me moving house constantly, and, well, I made a lot of friendships during my childhood that only lasted a few weeks, and I never saw these people again. But that's fine, because regardless of how little time you spent or how much time you wish you had with these decent people, it's the experience you had with them that you get to keep, and it's also what you should keep with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, I'm a total pussy, and the way some of these stories are structured are things that I can relate to in a personal way. That's it. That's not the only reason why I think this is better than Beastars. I just personally think that this mangaka's best strengths as a creator are shining more here than they are in Beastars. In Beastars, things kind of fell the fuck apart as soon as Melon got introduced, but over here, it's just, you don't have to worry about none of that. I personally think that this author's artistic and writing abilities shine better when she's working on shorter tales. And keep in mind, that's not like some type of unique opinion. A lot of people also believe that. After Beastars' anime and manga had ended, folks were feeling rather hollow, as the ending was considered to be mediocre, if not straight up rushed. And there were genuinely a few, like a handful of plot points that straight up got ignored, and I could probably make a whole video about that separately, but I'm not going to. Point being is that fans of this author's work, such as myself, after reading so many of her other works outside of Anthro content, like Drip Drip and Sonda and etc., people notice that those longer pieces of work tend to rot as they progress, due to seemingly forgotten subplots, confusing setups with absolutely no payoffs. Chainsaw Man syndrome is basically what I'm getting at. Meanwhile, her shorter series, if not the ones that are straight up one-shots, tend to be really great and memorable and full of consistency and quality, which leads many to believe that her artistic abilities are best used for shorter tales. And considering how great this thing is, yeah, I'm definitely on that boat. Okay, you know, I can't find a way to, like, organically place this into the script for this video, but I do kind of feel like a dumbass for not telling you specifically what happens in these chapters, even though, if I do, I'm kind of giving away big chunks of it. So I'll just... God damn it. I'll give up some random facts that do actually happen in the series, okay? Here we go. Akko and Erdo, the lion and rabbit couple that Haru told off back when she entered college, yeah, they get their own chapter. A sea lion consents to getting eaten. A tiger literally gets violated by an alpaca. Yeah, maybe skip that chapter. Like I said, most of them are good. Two professional chefs have a racially charged argument in the middle of a cooking show. Legoshi fucks Haru, finally. Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm not joking, he does. But yeah, you get my point. If that doesn't whet your appetite, I don't know what will. Just go off and read this goddamn thing now, damn it. Please just read it. I love this thing. I love it a lot. I know it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. I know it's just a collection of short stories featuring Anthro characters, but it just does everything right for me, man. It just does. Boys, on the real, if you want to read a tale that is just a pure display of Paru Itagaki's raw artistic abilities, not just in terms of art, but her wild-ass narratives, if you want to see one of my personal favorite manga authors just be unapologetically herself, then read Beast Complex. I promise you won't be sorry. This video isn't a review at all, but if it was, I would give it a 4 out of 5. That's going to be all for this video, boys. This is Blacklight Jack signing out. You guys have a good one. We've reached the end of the video, so it's time for the Patreon roll call. My 15 or more supporters are Stormy Knight. My $10 supporters are Phaedra Galaxy, Selena BB, Klutzy Ninja Kitty, Sarnox, Raging Ray, Lizard Teeth, and Foxy Guy. And let's not forget our $5 supporters. They are appreciated just as much as our $10 Patreons. If you'd like to be a part of the credits as well, just catch me on patreon.com/blacklightjack. Thanks for watching, boys. We'll see you next time.